The next benefit we're going to talk about today is Colonial Life's hospital indemnity insurance, which is oftentimes referred to as medical bridge insurance. Essentially, the purpose of this plan, like our other plans, to obviously offset the costs associated with major medical that's not covered, but more specifically, this benefit is designed to cover you for inpatient care at the hospital. In other words, when I have an overnight stay at the hospital, how am I able to make sure that I can manage that expense? So again, health insurance will help with this, but our hospital indemnity insurance plan will pay the policyholder cash benefits directly based on the treatments that they're receiving or the overnight stays that they're having at the hospital. And I'll walk through a few examples. I really like the way that they position it here on this flyer. No matter how well you plan, you can't predict when sudden medical expenses could impact your way of life. Health insurance helps, but it does not cover everything. For instance, the average family has more than $4,500 in out-of-pocket costs each year. If you're admitted to the hospital for a covered accident or sickness, Medical Bridge could help pay for those expenses. It's basically, again, protecting you for what you've worked so hard to build. Unfortunately, 13% of Americans have medical debt that's sitting in collections. Very common, very, very common. And those bills can stack up, especially if you're dealing with something major. So I'll give you an example of a family's journey where Nathan was doing yard work, had chest pains, was examined by the doctor. It was a false alarm, but they still had to go into the hospital and get admitted. So Nathan received immediate care at the hospital or at the emergency room. There was a diagnostic procedure. Nathan was admitted to the hospital for a 24-hour stay while they ran tests. They confirmed in this case that there were no issues, but there was another follow-up doctor's visit. The out-of-pocket expenses that Nathan had to deal with because of that were $3,425. And you can see on here, there's the emergency room copay of $100. There's Nathan's $1,500 deductible, which is a low deductible for a lot of people. $25 copay at the doctor, and then $1,800 of coinsurance, right? Because on top of Nathan's deductible, he then had to meet his piece on the coinsurance. So Nathan's benefits through a medical bridge plan would be $100 for that emergency room visit, a $250 payment for the diagnostic procedure, $1,500 for that hospital confinement, and $25 for the doctor's visit. So in total, $1,875 that Nathan would be getting paid directly from Colonial. So in this case, that offset all of his deductible and helped to pay for pretty much that coinsurance that he had to deal with. So a lot of people like to use this plan alongside of some of our other plans. And an easy example would have been, let's say that Nathan's incident was severe. Maybe Nathan was having a heart attack. Well, if Nathan had a hospital plan along with our critical illness plan, they each would have paid Nathan. So it's important for employees to understand the impact that can be had if they have multiple benefits. I'll give you an example not listed on this flyer. Let's say that Nathan was doing yard work and he was using his garden shears and cut his hand and needed stitches, right? Well, in this case, maybe not an overnight hospital visit, but would have gotten paid on both benefits for these treatments. So important to understand how these benefits can also work together. Keep in mind that the benefits, again, are payable directly to the policyholder. Coverage is available for individuals up through entire families. These benefits do not coordinate with other benefits, meaning that Colonial Life doesn't care what you have for major medical. We will cover you on this plan. So we're not going to stop at a certain dollar amount because your health insurance is covering $1,500, $3,000, whatever the case may be. We pay you the benefit that's owed. And the benefits are indemnity based, which means you know the benefit amount that's payable to you when you're filing that claim. Very similar to our cancer plan and our accident plan. It's that indemnity style plan where you know exactly what that is. Benefit counselors will have the conversation with employees. Again, it's important to understand the value and where you would use this, the hospital confinement, diagnostic procedures. doctor's office visits. But all of these expenses add up in a really big way. And so our medical bridge coverage does a really nice job to take care of that. It will vary by state. So in a lot of states, we have plans that offer $1,000 up through $5,000 of coverage when you go to the hospital. You are able to offer multiple options to an employer for their employees. So for example, you could offer a low inexpensive option and a more robust option that comes at a higher cost so that employees have the choice. And there are some other variations based on state. Again, I encourage you to talk with your underwriter and to have those conversations prior to working with your groups so that you understand all the nuances of the benefits. But overall, a tremendous benefit indemnity plan that pays the policyholder directly for overnight stays at the hospital.